Wake up in the morning, get my grind on. Hop in the shower, brush my teeth and get my shine on. Hey, Skylar Mac, we taking trips to different time zones. I feel like E.T. way these bitches trying to follow home. Wake up in the morning, get my grind on. Welcome everybody to Living on Purpose podcast. We're your host, James Hagler, and myself, Jason Wilson. Tonight, we have several guests. Tonight, we have Sophia Stewart, visionary author, genius creative person. She's the author of The Matrix and the Terminator, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
That's how you doing. And the owner, people, not just the creator, but the creator and owner by copyrights. I own all those derivative movies, and anything to do with Matrix and Terminator belongs to me.
It's an honor to have you.
That's right.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you guys for inviting me.
Absolutely. Also joining us is Skip Belcher, her vice president from All Eyes on Me, her company, and also artist Christopher Terrell. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Glad
having
to be
us.
here.
All right. So let's jump right in. Sophia, we love to start with everybody's story from the beginning. So just take us from when you were a little girl. What did you want to be when you grew up? Was it an author or was it something else?
No, I wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor. Actually, that's what I went to school for, to be a lawyer and a doctor, but God had other plans for me. And this is why I became the creator and owner of Matrix and Terminator film franchises and became a phenomenal prodigy writer. I've been writing since grade school, like Venus and Serena playing tennis in grade school, and Michael Jordan grade school, and Tiger Woods 3 years old or 8 years old. You got to have consistency and a gift, and I have both.
So as a child, what kind of things did you write?
I was writing some very phenomenal stuff. I'm a master writer, so that means that I wrote my first poetry book and poems and everything while I was in school. And I was writing short stories, and I was writing scripts and books and stuff like that early on. So by the time Matrix came along, Matrix didn't come out till March 31st, 1999. And it's nothing but an adaptation of my book and my copyrighted book and copyrighted script. That's all it is. Like Lords of the Ring book, Lords of the Ring movie. J.R. Tolkien is the creator of that, not who bought it and adapted it to the screen. Adaptation means filming, meaning somebody filmed the shooting script. But these people, if you pull them up in the Library of Congress, Andy and Larry Wachowski, James Cameron and Gail Ann Hurd has never written a book, has never written a script. Their names are not on any of those Matrix or Terminator trademarks, copyrights, or anything. So I don't even know how people can believe them. And they talk about film credits. Well, film credits, anybody's name can go on a film credit. What kind of deal you're making? You don't have to have written anything. You don't have to have produced anything. It just can be part of the deal, a money deal.
Yes. Amazing.
So film credit doesn't have any validations. Validations is when you own the copyrights, when you own the deed to the house, when you own the receipt to the television set, or you own the title to the car. That is what proves who owns what and when and how.
Well, that's kind of like Jack Nicholson when they came out with the first Batman. He gave up a lot of things, but he wanted like the paraphernalia rights more than anything because he knew that this movie was going to take off, and they was going to make all kinds of T-shirts, dolls, and all kinds of endorsements. He wanted more of that piece of that than far as like a salary or whatever it was he was going to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Sophia, what was your original premise for the book? Who was your inspiration for writing The Matrix?
Muhammad Ali was the second inspiration because I wanted to come out with the first Black science fiction with Black leadership roles. And that's what The Matrix is. When you look at The Matrix, look at all this Black leadership role, because white science fiction is Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Rocky saving the world. And they don't have, in Star Wars, they're all white science fiction. It's just like you identifying with the cavalry when you're really the Indians. So Matrix, 3/4 of the world are Black people. So to see yourself finally in 1999 in a leadership role was astronomical. You see what I'm talking about? Because what I wrote was the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machines. That's what The Matrix is all about. God's children, man, versus man's children, the machines. Terminator, End Time, Revelations. And the Terminator is the prequels, the beginning of the epic story, where the machines hear the oracle's prophecy that a baby is going to be born. And the mother of that baby is Sarah Connor. So the machines in the future knows that they have to terminate Sarah Connor. So JC, John Connors, Jesus Christ, grow up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. Past, present, and future time travel. And you see Kyle Reese is coming to save her. He's time traveling to save her. They land naked without shame. A Terminator, a machine, me born in the digital age, wrapped in flesh, killed but cannot be killed. Because everybody was doing the Prodigy, H.G. Wells, old metal clankety clank robots. Right. I introduced a whole nother concept of the machines in the future where they look like man. Do you see what I'm talking about? Killed but cannot be killed, wrapped in flesh, coming, burning through a burning network, landing naked without shame. No shame because it has no seed, no soul. It's a machine. First time anyone had ever seen any concept like that on any screen.
Sophia, I have to ask you, where does your creative genius come from? I mean, do you dream about this kind of stuff, or does it come?
It's inside of me, my DNA. Like when I speak, it's coming right out of me, the matrix, because the matrix is a 7,000-year-old Latin word for the woman's womb, her stargate, her portal. The difference between a man and a woman is not the vagina and the penis. A woman can have a baby and a man will never have a baby. He will never have a feeding tube, called an umbilical cord. He will never have estrogen manufacturing to bring that womb out where the baby can grow inside of it for 9 months or 36 weeks. He will never have any milk glands that we have to feed the baby. There is no Dr. Frankenstein anywhere on the earth or any other in the universe that can create that. Only a woman can manufacture that. Not a dog being a fox or a fox being a dog. Not gonna happen. In the Bible, matrix is mentioned 5 times in scripture, 3 times in Exodus, 2 times in Numbers. Exodus 34th chapter, 19th verse, God says, he who opens up the matrix or the woman's stargate, her portal, to bring babies into this physically earthly dimension, that is the only way you're gonna get here. And you're not coming out of a butt. You're coming out of a womb. With hot water for 9 months, you're drinking and swimming in the hot water. And when you come out, your skin is glowing and beautiful and you're healthy and just wonderful. So I'm a prodigy, a polymath like Tesla and Leonardo da Vinci, someone that's well-versed in mathematics, because I'm talking about alien technology. I'm talking about the ancient aliens that came here over in what you are called, it's really in the Bible, it's called Eden. It's called the motherland, but they have named it after a white man, Africa, Africanus, Africa. Is named after a white man. It's the Queen Elizabeth's plantation. I was engaged to marry Muhammad Ali back in the 80s, but I was way younger because he always liked young girls. And and I'm friends with Don King and his son, Carl King. I'm friends with the Mayweathers, Floyd Jr., Sr., Jeff, the uncle, Roger when he was alive, and the assortments of the mother and sisters and family members.
Oh.
But I've been knowing them for 16 years here in Vegas, and Mike Tyson, I know him also. I also, when Sugar Ray Leonard was at the top of his game, I met him, and Ken Norton that played Mandingo. I met a lot of people back in the day in the fight game. And it seemed like I'm always coming around those type of guys. Always. Yeah.
Fighters.
Right.
Yeah, fighters. I don't know. I love it. And the high rise that I live in, in the high rise I live in, there's a lot of MMA fighters like Michael Perez. He lives in the same high rise, and I see him often, he and his wife, me and my husband. So it's phenomenal. I love warriors. I really do. I love that.
Well, speaking of your court case, Sophia, we have Skip Belcher. He's going to shed more light on that. Tell us about the case, Skip.
Well, the case started, and Sophia will verify this, when she discovered it. Let me put it that way. When she was invited to go to see The Matrix. So she was in the theater, and she was seeing her work on the screen. Okay, taken from the Third Eye book.
And script, copyrighted.
And script, and the copyrighted script.
And
so she had gone to the FBI to lodge that complaint, and they investigated. And when they compared the character breakdown from the movie, or from her book to the movie, the persons who made that movie didn't even try to change the descriptions. So the FBI's report was, this is verbatim. All they did was change some of the names, not all of them. It was obvious to them, and they knew then that this work was stolen. They knew it right then.
Yeah, because one of the agents, let me interject, one of the agents, his name was Agent Ross, had actually seen the movie, and he told the other agent, he said, oh man, this is it right here.
There was an ad in a magazine looking for screenwriters, okay? And she had submitted her work, and it was passed around, shopped around in Hollywood. But, and this is all in the book, the people at Paramount had said they were interested in making the movie. Gail Ann Hurd had gotten hold of this thing through her girlfriend who worked at Paramount, Susan Mesbeck. And they decided that they were going to steal this, okay, because it was an epic situation. They needed a fall guy. So if they got busted, they could blame it on someone else. James Cameron was a director at that time. He was making movies, but he was terrible. Okay. And Hollywood had blackballed him. Okay. He made this movie Piranha 2. And when that came out, they decided that he shouldn't even be in Hollywood. They blackballed him. Gail Ann Hurd had an affair with him specifically to make him the patsy.
Oh, yes.
She got him divorced. She married him, and they together developed Halcyon Films, Halcyon Pictures, and stole Sophia's work.
I'm doing an interview. Yeah.
At which time Paramount, who said originally that they wanted the work, now they said that it couldn't be done. They didn't want it. They were no longer interested. They, in the Terminator movie, Okay, and if you've seen the Terminator, the original one, you see Kyle Reese is in before he got into the no, I guess it was right after he got into the store to get the clothing. He came out and the cop was looking for him. He surprised the cop and had him in a headlock with the gun against his head.
Right.
And he asked him, "What day is it? What's the date?"
What's the date? They said, "What
Okay.
time is it? What time is it?"
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And the cop gave him the date, which was the same date that they began Halcyon Films and stole Sophia's work.
Yes.
The same date.
Counterfeiting.
Okay. And so now they're deep into it. Okay. But the Terminator, that first movie, that made a ton of money. Nobody had ever seen anything like that before. You know, Naked Without Shame, the No More Robots, you know,
Right.
Danger, Will Robinson, none of that. This was somebody that you couldn't tell was a robot. He had skin, like Kyle said. They got skin, bad breath, the whole thing. But they were there to kill
and terminate.
Terminate
Yes.
Sarah Connor.
That's right.
So when she went to court, now the first court case was in California. When she got there, there was a judge. Well, first of all, Johnny Cochran called for Sophia's case.
That's right.
Okay,
yes, he did.
He wanted to try this case because it was history making and it was a slam dunk.
Exactly.
Okay, what year was this, Skip?
This was in 2003. Let me tell him.
Go ahead.
Johnny Cochran got in touch with me in 2003. He got in touch with me through Terry Williams, his publicist. Her cousin T had investigated my case and took all the findings to her. And she called Johnny Cochran up, and she's the one that introduced me to Johnny Cochran in the year 2003. And Johnny got sick and died of cancer before he could do the case. Yeah, Johnny, I was so grateful to meet such a phenomenal man and that he called for my case because you have no idea. You cannot get Johnny Cochran unless he calls for your case. That is a real statement because I had tried to get Johnny Cochran in the year 2000 and 2001 and 2, and I had called Ogilvy. A woman named Ogilvy answered the call at his office in New York because he has a California with Sonia and a guy named Don over there in California, but Ogilvy was in New York office. And I was telling her, I said, I'm just so amazed that the Johnny Cochran called for my case because I had called trying to get him. And someone told me, honey, you're not going to get Johnny Cochran. Johnny Cochran wants the case, he'll call you. And I said, and somebody told me that. And she said, it was me. I was the one that told you that, Ogilvy, the lady that worked for him. And I said, wow, you told the truth because Johnny called me for my case. It was, and let me tell you who the judge was on the California case because I had created a RICO case to put them in jail because I'm well versed in law. And so this was amazing. And Johnny Cochran knew the judge, Terry J. Hatter Jr., the federal judge. And he said Hatter will bend over backwards to make sure that I get justice. And that was a true statement. They sent 4 law firms to sabotage the case. Now,
wait, before you go there, Hatter had told Sophia, because she wanted to hit him with RICO. Okay, racketeering, influence, so forth and so on, organized crime. And Hatter told her that if you can answer these 20 questions, I will hit him with RICO. She answered the questions and he filed the RICO against the persons that we started this story with.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So up to date, where are we now?
I won the court case.
She won the
in
court
2014,
case.
September the 25th, 2014, pro se. I beat several law firms. One law firm had over 100 attorneys and they couldn't beat me because I'm a prodigy. Also, I sued 4 law firms, the 4 that sabotaged me, and Skip went to every hearing. He was there by my side at every hearing. He was there when FBI agents called me, when judges were talking to me, when all kinds of phenomenal people were talking to me. God had him as a witness. Can you believe he's heard some of the most phenomenal conversations and to witness some of the most phenomenal things when I'm in the courts? Because none of these people ever showed up in California or Utah or Nevada. It is 3 court cases. And all people are talking about on the internet is the RICO case that got dismissed because they were going to go to jail in California. They don't talk about me winning $150 million in Utah, got $3.5 billion in liens, almost $500,000 in attorney fees. They don't talk about me winning $55 billion in Nevada. They don't talk about I won 2 default judgments in 1 court case, which is unheard of, which we can send to you. I made history all the way around with this case.
You never, you don't hear of any attorneys getting two federal judges to recuse themselves from a case. She not only got that, but 2 other federal judges, one of whom was a magistrate, confirmed that every accusation that Sophia Stewart had made against Warner Brothers, Paramount, Fox, James Cameron, and I can go on, was true. They have it in writing. And that is when she won that case. When she went to Nevada, the atrocities in that courtroom were the worst. You'd have to see him in a movie and you'd think it was comedy.
Exactly.
It was so bad.
Wow.
It changed my entire view of the justice system. But what I did learn, because I had been a reporter in another life, and that's a whole nother story. But Sophia had gotten these people so scared, including the judge, that they kept on making mistakes over and over, and they were putting them in writing, submitting false documents to the court. You will see them, and a lot of other people are going to go to prison. We can't even enumerate everything that has happened in an hour. That's just impossible. Yeah. But the things that I have personally seen in the courtroom blew me away. We had judges that had given individuals a show cause. So that means that they want you in court. I don't care where you live. We will send local authorities to pick you up, take you to the airport, fly you to wherever that is, and you'll appear in court in person. Okay? The judges, federal judges, had done this, and none of those defendants showed up. None of them.
That's right. Never set foot in the courtroom ever.
Never set foot in the courtroom. We had one guy. She had the worst attorney. Jonathan LaBelle lived out in Georgia. Okay, and he was a part of a team of lawyers who called into the court one day. He was under a show cause, but he didn't show up. And one of the other attorneys called in. He did not appear. And the judge said, well, where's Jonathan? He said, well, I talked to him a little while ago. He's doing fine, but he can't be in court today. So the judge said, and I quote, he said, well, I don't know why he's calling you. You can't do nothing for him. He should have called me. So the judge was getting irritated, okay? And in the course of a minute and a half, 2 minutes, he went from doing fine to he was not, didn't sound so good, to he was bedridden, and I don't expect him to live. In a matter of minutes, his health deteriorated to damn near death. And none of them ever showed. No one from Warner Brothers. That doesn't mean that they weren't in the court.
Right.
In the courtroom. Right. They came as incognito guests.
Yeah, like spectators.
Somebody else came for them.
Well, they came in as spectators, but they did not step into the arena.
No.
They wouldn't, because they was going to get arrested. We witnessed 4 to 5 FBI agents and marshals with guns, bailiff, waiting on them. And their lawyers were going to get arrested also, because this is RICO. This is counterfeiting. The moment you step in that courtroom, you're going to get arrested.
Yeah, are you guys familiar with RICO, what that actually means?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. Then see, if they had stepped foot in the courtroom, even though they're the attorneys and not the specific people who committed the crimes, because they had knowledge, you're as guilty as the person who did it.
That's right. You're aiding and abetting under the RICO Act. Yeah. And so under the penalty of perjury, you going down. And the lawyers were scared. This is why I won these default judgment, because there was nobody to rebuttal any of the facts. Ask Skip.
No.
They couldn't put in nothing. They didn't put nothing in to rebuttal the facts. Nothing. Can you imagine
James,
that?
I can't tell you how many times we went to court and the judge would take roll. And she'd say, Sophia Stewart. And she would say, here I am. And then she'd say, who's representing Warner Brothers? And Sophia would say, they're not coming. Where are they? They are not coming, Your Honor. They're not going to be here. Well, why not? Because, they're guilty. they're not going to show up and turn themselves in.
You got to go to their house to get them up.
Kicking and screaming.
Oh, it was fun. It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Crazy.
Yeah, for you guys to witness that. And we had spectators now. Don't think the courtroom was empty. Oh, no, no.
Oh, I know it wasn't. No. Oh, I know it wasn't. They was there to see them get locked up. But, unfortunately, they was like, nah, they're not going to show up.
No, they never showed. Never, ever.
They never, ever showed up. Do you know that court case went on for 7 years?
Yeah.
7 years. And can you imagine 7 years and never showing up that one day in the courtroom? All your attorneys?
One of the days that we were in court, the judge looked at Sophia, okay, and told her, this was in Utah, told her that your case is the oldest case in the history of the Utah federal court. And he was laughing. Wow. What he was saying was, everybody has come to the counter and got served, but you. And that's what we're doing. We're holding up your case. So, but in the end, she won the case hands down. Yeah. Hands down.
We got to tell them what happened with the judge. The judge was laughing, and I told the judge, and Skip will never forget this.
Oh, yeah.
I told a federal judge, because he was laughing. Can you imagine? He's a federal judge.
He's a federal judge.
And how can you be breaking protocol and help committing a crime and laughing with the spectators in there and saying my court case that I got discriminated against and you did nothing about that case? And I told him, because I was standing before him, ask Skip and the people, I told him, I said, I'm going to tell the task force. He said, what? He said, what? And I said, I'm going to tell the task force. He said,
Which one?
who? Which one? Which one? And I told him all of them because it was three of them. Three task force that Obama in 2014 had in Salt Lake City, Utah for racism.
That's right.
And you asked Skip what happened when I did that. Would you tell everyone what that judge did when I told him I was going to tell all of them?
First of all, that was not public knowledge that the task force were there. And it was unprecedented that there was three task force there to look for the same thing. Okay. And when the judge said, well, which one you going to tell? And she said, all of them. Information that she was not supposed to have. He jumped up and left the building.
Like Elvis
he
has
didn't
left the
gavel
building.
the session
hearing.
closed. He didn't take a recess. He didn't do anything. He just got up and boom, he was out.
He got the hell out of Dodge. He got the hell out of Dodge.
They'd have been laughing at him.
Well, yeah, he thought the feds were going to come in and arrest him on the spot because that's what they do.
Yeah,
they embarrass you. They don't come and arrest you at your home, and they embarrass you in the courtroom. There are federal judges. They drag them out of there.
Right. He didn't think that was so funny, though, did he?
Oh, he was moving like we had never seen a federal judge as scared as this judge. He was moving like a freight train.
He got out of there with a quickness.
Oh yeah, he said it was like he was like, it's time to go.
Excuse me, I gotta go.
It was like time to go, and he just knew that they were gonna come in there and catch him. He was terrified.
Yeah,
you guys have no idea how terrifying that was when I told him, and I'm not supposed to have that knowledge. Only judges and certain people were privy to that knowledge.
But that was, that was dope that you did have that knowledge to say that, because that was kind of whack of him to sit there and just laugh about the case like that. You know, I would have took that as insult. I would have said the same thing you said. Well, yeah, you think that's funny. Well, how about this? I'm about to tell everybody. I'm about to tell all the tasks.
No, I'm gonna tell the task force.
That's right.
I'm gonna tell the task force. That's the way I said it. I was standing before him. I wasn't afraid because they got a lot of power now.
No, she wasn't afraid.
You look at A Few Good Men with Jack Nicholson and with Tom Cruise, and when Jack Nicholson, that colonel or whatever, and he said that he had killed the man, and that federal judge told him, you can call martial law outside of this building, but up in here, this is my domain. Put the cuffs on his ass. You don't understand. You don't understand. The judges in the federal court, they're very, very powerful. Let me tell you how powerful they are. They can put you in the jail for contempt of court for any little thing, and you can't get out until they get you, release you.
Till they say right.
This is a fact. Yeah. I'm telling you, they got a lot of power. People don't make no mistake.
Yeah.
The federal judge is the top of the line. Out of the city and the state judges, they ain't nothing. Some of them get voted in, some get paid in. They buy them like you buy popcorn. But when you get to the federal level, you messing in another domain.
Right.
If you get caught bribing them, you get caught threatening them, you gone. You're out of there.
That's right.
The mob knows. Even the Scientologists have to blackmail them by stealing their dogs and killing their dogs, or telling their secrets. And some of them are cross-dressers and all kinds of stuff, telling their family members their secrets to get them off the bench. They got to do dirty to mess with those. I mean, you already know. I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
James, I can tell you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the public needs to hear this, because lawyers are terrified of federal judges. That federal procedure to get around in a federal court is nothing nice. Now the lawyers, they're fine in state and city, but when they get into the federal jurisdiction, that's my domain. They can't handle me in that domain. Ask Skip.
No doubt.
They're shaky. I know
he got those two judges recused off that case.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you how I got them. Tell
You
them
want me
what
to tell you that story?
yeah, tell them they need to hear. They need to hear what I did to 2 federal judges. They need to hear it.
Sophia would she'd write her briefs and she would send them over to me to read, to just read them, see if there's any typos, all that kind of stuff. And this particular time, there were 2 judges in particular, Brooke Wells and
Clark Wadoff.
Clark
Wadoff.
And Wells had it in for Sophia.
Oh yeah.
She in the brief that she submitted to the court,
for
she
the public,
called Brooke Wells a cheap prostitute, and she called Wadoff a KKK Grand Dragon member.
I sure did.
And
I wrote it in the legal
called
brief.
her up, and I said, I'm afraid that this time they're going to come and arrest you. I think they're going to come and get you this time because this is defamation of character and blah, blah, blah. Sophia, she kind of laughed at me, and she said, well, just wait to see. And about a day later, it was a day later.
Yeah.
I called her up, and she was on the phone with an attorney from Salt Lake City. And Utah. He was laughing his butt off. And he's asking her, how did you know?
That's right.
That woman, he says she ain't nothing but a hoe.
That's
he
right.
had sucked her way to the top. And I know because she sucked my Johnson.
And his name was attorney Larry Long.
Larry
Long. And he's a white attorney. And he was reading the legal briefs. He was on the floor. Legal briefs. He was on the floor. He couldn't believe it.
Damn.
He could not believe it. You guys don't understand something here. These are 2 federal judges. That woman is a magistrate judge. She can send you to jail for any old crime. And if the federal judge will tell you to plead the 5th. But she can send you instantly the moment it's discovered that you stole some chewing gum out of a store 10 years ago. And to call her a cheap prostitute, and to call Wadoff a grandmaster Ku Klux Klan, you got to know what you're talking about. And God is the one.
That's right. That's right.
God is the one, and God is the one who told me. He said, Sophia, write this and put it in the legal brief for the whole world to read. And if you think I'm gonna go against God and I'm gonna be worried about man, dream on.
That's right. You said that. That's right.
Because that's David and Goliath. I'm David.
That's right, all day.
I got that slingshot. And God said, hey, here's 5 stones. Okay, God, I'm going to get busy.
That's right.
And sure enough, both of those judges, both of them, recused themselves off of that case immediately.
And the New York Minute.
And then Wadoff retired. And I don't know what happened to Wells, but they were gone. They were gone. Dropped that case like it was a hot potato.
Wow.
Sure did.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to understand the power of God.
Yes.
You don't understand the power of God. God is real. I give the testimony that it's the David and Goliath story. These people are murderers. They are billionaires. They are some of the most treacherous people upon the earth.
Sophia,
and they don't mind doing anything to anybody. Yes.
Sophia, I'm so sorry. We're out of time.
We're out of time already?
Yeah, I mean, we need another hour.
We're not even close to being finished.
We have not even bridged the gap on one of the most amazing things.
Can I send you another link?
Yes, send us another link. Come on.
All right, yeah.
Let's another link.
James, you down?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it right now. Okay.
Yeah, come on. Chris, you down, right? Chris, come on.
Thank you for watching Living on Purpose podcast. Stay tuned for part 2 of our interview with Sophia Stewart.